here. Hello. Welcome again to Momentum 20. Yes, we're rocking through the year. I hope you're doing what you have to do. I hope you're simplifying. I hope you have your morning routine. I hope you're doing everything there is to do. Most importantly, you're not feeling sorry for yourself. You're getting out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself to be the kind of person who is living up to your dreams, making sure you're pushing through, making sure, most importantly, that you're not only living up to your dreams, but you're doing whatever it takes because you know that you're capable. So today in this particular session, I want to talk about how to manage your time. Most importantly, how to manage yourself for efficiency and effectiveness in your life. Why? It is crucial, ladies and gentlemen, that we are able to manage our time. Most importantly, to be able to be effective in everything that we do. Guess what? Most people go around this world confusing busyness with effectiveness. They're so busy, they're so doing so much stuff, but they're not effective. Why? Because it's just the nature of life. You know, they're so busy with so much going on. They're checking email, they're checking WhatsApp, then there's this call, then they got to run, do this, they got to run, shop, do all this stuff. And guess what? It's just busy, and not effective. You know, one of the things that I've been studying recently is the Pareto rule, the 80-20 rule. 80% of what you do is nonsense. Now, yes, that's a big generalization, but hey, if it stirs you a little bit, I want you to take time and go through and say, hey, let me look at my day. What do I do from the beginning of the day to the end of the day? And which ones of the things that I do are in line with my purpose? They are giving me the ability to go closer to my goals. 80% of what you do is nonsense, I say it again, and then 20% is what you do in terms of what you were created to do in this world. It is where you are being purposeful. It is where you are doing the things that take you closer to your dream, to your desires. It is where you're living purposefully. That's 20%. And yes, people might say, yeah, coach, but how do you make such a generalization? Hey, look around, see how much busyness is going on, and see how much effectiveness is going on as well. I mean, one of the most important things we have in life is time. It is irreplaceable. You cannot replace it. You know, I always give an example when I'm having my sessions. I say, hey, if there's I usually choose a member in the audience and I go and say, hey, young man, young woman, you know, if you came in late and you didn't come in on time, guess what? Nothing. You know, I'm not bothered. It is your time. You know, if I also give an example, I say, you know what, if I gave you, $100 and you went and spent it and wasted it and did, things that don't add value to you, you've wasted my $100. Guess what? Can I still make $100? Absolutely. I can still go and earn $100. However, if you waste 5 minutes of my time, I can never get it back. And which brings me to the next assumption. Hey, you cannot manage time, but you can manage yourself. It is about discipline. It's about having the discipline to say, you know what? I am going to do what I say I'm going to do within the time I'm going to do it. So let us jump into this. Number one, how do you manage your life and time better? Number one, clarity. I don't know how much more I can sing this, but I will sing it until the cows come home. Clarity is power. Clarity gives you the ability to define your goals, to define your biggest desires. Therefore, everything you do is in line with it. People who don't have clarity waste time. People who don't have clarity are so freaking busy with so many things, they're not moving closer to their goals. They're not moving closer to the things that make them alive. Why? Because they're not clear. I have a friend who always, every other 2-3 months, he comes around and he's saying, oh, guess what? I'm working on this today. And then he said, but last week, last 3 months you were working on something. He says, no, now this is the next big thing. Now this is the next big thing. Now guess what? He's always on the next big thing. He's busy, but he does not have effectiveness. He cannot be able to quantify and tell me throughout the year, what have you achieved? How far have you moved on your journey to becoming, to having, to receiving, to impacting the way you're supposed to impact? So first things first, you got to be clear in your life. What do I stand for? What are my biggest dreams? What are my biggest desires? You got to be clear. What do I want to achieve from a character point of view? What do I want to become? Who do I need to be? Number two, you got to be able to be clear in terms of what kind of relationships do I want to create? What kind of relationships do I want to have? Are they rich? Are they full of love? Are they full of connection? You got to be clear about that. Then you can begin to work on them. And then finally, you got to have goals and clarity in terms of how do I want to grow? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to get? Because when you have all those three clear up in the mind, then you begin to become purposeful. Then you begin to become a person who uses their time purposefully, because guess what? There's a direction, there's clarity, because where there's clarity, there's power. Where there's power, you get results. Okay? So there you go. Number one, you got to be totally 110% clear. Number two, you got to always prepare in advance. You want to manage your day better? You want to manage your time better? Prepare in advance. You know, I have had a couple of run-ins with my loved ones. Once in a while, I am always a little bit late going to bed, or I'm always a little bit late leaving the office. Why? I know that I got to prepare for tomorrow today. I got to sit down and say, these are the things that must happen tomorrow. Now, guess what? It's not easy. It is a discipline. You got to work on it. You know, are there going to be days where I fail to do it? Yes. Are there going to be days where I'm burned out and I'm too tired to do it? Yes. However, the majority of the time I prepare in advance. I sit down the day before and I say, okay, 4:30 to 6:30. You know the morning routine. You get up, you pray, you're grateful, you're thankful to God. You do your meditation. You do what you have to do in terms of journaling. Then you get into the day. By then you're already 100 miles ahead of everybody else. You do what you have to do, and you follow through what you said you're going to do. Somehow, when you prepare the night before, somehow the mind and brain has a way of directing you in your day to be much more effective. Therefore, you're managing time better. Most importantly, you're managing yourself better. Therefore, moving ahead as quickly as you ought to. Next, you must be able to manage yourself more than anything else. Now, yes, I said to you earlier that time management, you cannot manage time, but you have to be disciplined. But I repeat this as a point because self-discipline is doing what you say you are going to do, whether you want to, whether you feel like, whether you don't feel like, you still do it. Self-discipline is where you know that dessert looks great, but you decide to eat the fruit. Self-discipline is where you get up and it is raining and your bed feels the most logical, most comfortable place to be, but you still get up and go for that run. You still get up and you work out. You still get up and you do your journaling. Self-discipline is saying you're going to do something and doing it. Two things happen. Every time you don't do what you say you're going to do, you affect your self-esteem and your self-confidence. It erodes your way. Therefore, you become weaker as a person. If you want to manage yourself and manage time better, you got to say and do what you say you're going to do and stick with it consistently. Are you going to have some times where it's a little bit difficult? Of course. Are you going to have some times where you're going to fall apart? Yes. But your job is to consistently work towards it, slowly but surely, until you build this muscle where you have the discipline to do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. So that is very important. Next, you must set conditions. You must set conditions and create a supportive environment for you to manage yourself better. You must set conditions to say, you know what? After 7:30, no more phone, no more TV. I'm getting ready to go to bed. And I do whatever it takes to get a certain amount of hours, for example. You must have the self-discipline to say, you know what? When it is time to study for 1.5 hours, no phone, nothing. Put it away. And sometimes people say, yeah, but coach, it's a little bit difficult. Hey, nothing comes easy, okay? Nothing comes easy. One of the best ways you want to be able to manage those distractions is sit with a piece of paper on the side. And every time you're concentrating on something and you're distracted, write down what distracts you. Write them down. Sooner or later, you'll see a pattern. And then you'll find a way to get rid of that stuff. I always say, do not sacrifice the time to work on your greatest goals for little minor stuff. When the phone rings, it is somebody else's business. If it's an emergency, they will call your wife and call somebody else and call everybody else to make sure if the phone rings for 10 times, then you know it's an emergency. But everything else can wait until you have done what you have to do. The most important person in the world is you. Therefore, you focus more on your life's mission, your life's purpose, by setting conditions to say, it is study time, it is study time. It is time to work out, it is time to work out. One of the greatest challenges with self-discipline is the people you surround yourself with and the people you live with. I do intermittent fasting sometimes, and you're at home and guys are cooking some awesome stuff, but you're fasting, and they decide to cook your favorite meal when you're fasting, and you're like, dude, really? But I get to that stage where I say, okay, guys, time to fast. Don't want any more of this stuff. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I create an environment that is supportive so I can be able to manage myself, manage my time better, therefore be much more effective in life. Next, you must focus on giving value to others 24/7. Why is this important? Think about it. Managing yourself and managing your time to be much more effective is about what you bring to the table. It's about how you show up. One of the greatest ways to be much more effective in managing yourself is focusing on how much value you bring to the world, how much value you bring to others, how much value you bring in making this place a better place. Most importantly, you know what Zig Ziglar said: serve as much as you can. Most importantly, help enough people get what they want, and you will certainly get what you want. When you focus on bringing value, somehow you will find a way to discipline yourself to do that consistently. Focus on creating value. Focus every day to say, how can I serve better? How can I serve more? What can I do to serve my team? What can I do to serve my community? And somehow you'll find that you become much more effective, because all of a sudden it becomes so important to you that nothing else is important. You begin to concentrate. You begin to put in the time. You begin to do whatever it takes. Finally, you must spend time alone. Hello? Really? Coach, what does that got to do with time management and effectiveness? Now, listen. There's nothing as important as recharging yourself. There's nothing as important as rejuvenating the mind. Taking time to spend time alone might be one of the best things you do for yourself. Whether you're a mom, a dad, an entrepreneur, a leader, it might be the best thing you do for yourself. Why? I tell people that, hey, everybody else will be okay when you're okay. Now, if you're not looking after yourself, if you're not taking time to recharge, if you're not going away and walking in nature, like Robin Sharma always says, go and walk in the woods so that you can get a good feel of what the world is about. Okay? Eben Pagan says, guess what? The best time to create something is get away from the noise. Get away, go and find a vacation and just rejuvenate. It is through that time where you're away and you're connecting with nature that the ideas are going to pop. Guess what? You want to manage yourself better. You want to manage your time better. Spend time on your own. Take time to go inside. Be appreciative. And before you know it, you come back. You're much more focused. You're much more in line with the kind of person that you want to be. So there you have them. Five points there for you to go through and say, hey, how do I become a better manager of self? And how do I become a better manager of my time? There you have it. So, as usual, whatever you do, live strong and live with passion. And remember, you have the audacity to live life on your terms. Until next time, I love you. Bye.